Imagine turning this ordinary piece of paper into something that feels and is as beautiful as this textured paper. These two are the same. And today we're going to take our time and we're going to go through all the basics and intro of Momigami. We are going to look at hand lotions. We're going to look at the kanyaku starch, and we're going to discuss why I have never done the oil. Turning paper into fabric? Well, I don't know. I think the texture that you can get is an amazing change. Momigami. Let's compare all the techniques that I've done. As we see here, I've got a stack of paper, I've got hand lotion, I've got the kanyaku starch, and each of these are drastically different papers. I have many more where this came from, and we will take a look at them and see the different textures and different looks that you can get with the different techniques of Momigami. I don't think it really matters what type of lotion you use. I know some people even use like hair oils and shampoo. Let's go ahead. I'll show you real quick what we can do just with a little bit of hand lotion. I just put a little on my hands, and I just take this regular 20-pound paper and I curl in the edges just to protect it from itself, because I don't want anything to tear, because at times the lotion type of Momigami with hand lotion can start to tear. So basically I'm just crinkling it up and I'm gently opening it up. And the one thing that is just absolutely amazing about this is how much your paper is going to shrink up after it's all done. If you have a piece of paper planned out, you definitely want to make sure you have the paper planned out as far as size goes if you're going to be using it for something else, because it will change drastically, and I'll show you a couple of those as we review everything. So as we start, like this, my printer won't print all the way to the end of the page, so I would have to trim that out. I should have done that first, just for the sheer fact it's going to be really difficult to cut that out. So basically this is Momigami. We're kneading the paper utilizing the lotion to help break up the fibers. It's really a nice hand treatment too. My hands get all nice and soft, and as you can see, it starts to take on a new form. It's not as crinkly. You can hear it's a little softer, a little more malleable, a little more fabric-like. So I'm just, and you can do this, there's no right or wrong, it's just go by what you want your paper to be, and you can just keep doing this. You could take a bunch of papers and just sit in front of the TV in the evening and just start kneading them all and end up with a humongous stack like I have of different papers. I've got so many papers, but the fun thing is, are some of the things that I've made have actually shocked me, and we'll look at those in just a little bit. So here we are, where we're at. It's really starting to actually get a little bit smaller. I don't have a comparison, but we'll look at what a piece of Momigami compared to its original looks like. And this is just a digital print that I made and printed on my home computer. So now you're going to hear, listen to how different. No holes, but listen, amazing. So that's Momigami. That's the base of Momigami, is the art of kneading, and it's the different techniques that change the texture and the strength. So like I said, this is a little older. I did not knead it as much. This one I ended up trimming the edges before I did it. And again, these are photographs of National Geographic Citrusolve treatment and printed on my home computer. That is my first experience with Momigami. We're still doing the lotion technique of Momigami. This is different paper. This is actually watercolor paper. This is a handmade version. This has a Suminagashi color print on it that I did. I love taking different dyeing techniques of the paper and then applying Momigami to it. This is watercolor on top of watercolor paper, and then lotion, Momigami on top. And what is really just so amazing about this is it's holding its shape, but this now, in comparison to the 20-pound paper that we looked at, this feels like leather. This feels amazingly strong. I know that I could easily stitch into this. This as well feels like a leather. I think I could take it a little bit further and make it even softer, but I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it. I still had some lotion on my hands. It changes it drastically. Here's another lotion on different paper. This is more of a cardstock, and basically what I put on here is acrylic metallic paint. Look how beautiful the colors are. There's a little mixture of different colors of metallics. And this was done with lotion as well. And what I've noticed is the different papers, you get different results with the different techniques even. It can narrow down as far as you want to go and experiment with. This also is a heavier but a gloss stock. I didn't like how this turned out because it ripped really bad, but it was this type of mono print that I did. I was just experimenting. This is a gloss stock with ink on it, and it didn't turn out, but you know, you have to experiment and learn. So I just thought I might as well show you the ones that didn't turn out too. But again, this was lotion, and it was a mono type print that I did on glass. And the paper just did not work real well for something like this, the glossiness of it, and it just started to disintegrate with the lotion. Now I do have individual long form videos that goes a little deeper into each Momigami technique. So we just looked at the lotion. Now this is a different type of, I don't know, technique. It's regular paper with no starch, no hand lotion, no oil, and you take a pan of water with acrylic ink in it, and you start the process when the paper gets into the ink. And you can come up with some really beautiful, it's really actually beautiful, but it is a little more difficult because the papers have a tendency to disintegrate just due to the large amounts of water that you get. This one is a little more supple, but it turned out really pretty. And then I took some different types of paper. This paper just proceeded to fall apart. It was just 20-pound paper with different colors of ink. But if you're collaging or doing something with, you know, the papers that can be ripped apart, beautiful. This is ink also, an acrylic ink. And I actually pressed it out a little bit. Very cool. This, I think, was watercolor. I tried using watercolor on watercolor paper, but again, totally different. Didn't really care for it, but it's okay. The majority of them I did in the rusty orange, but you can see the wide variety of results that you get. This is a little heavier of a stock, and you get really unusual types of veining. So anyways, this is acrylic ink, just in water, no lotion, no starch, just a different style and technique. And I do have a video, full video on this process as well. One of the papers you definitely don't want to really try right now would be a vintage paper. I have these vintage music papers and thought, oh, that'd be really cool, you know, to go ahead and do Momigami on that. Well, not really. This is with lotion, and I stopped like right away. Look at this. It just started to rip up. So, you know, it's good to experiment, but make sure you have something that you don't mind if it gets ruined or not, because vintage pages just don't hold up. Even like old books, you know, their pages, I thought it'd be really cool to do something with that. I don't recommend it, but anyways, that was probably one of the biggest fails when I was doing Momigami with lotion. Okay, the one technique that I never did because of the stuff that I had read and my own fears would be the olive oil or any kind of oil, grapeseed oil, avocado oil. I'm just afraid of the odor and the idea that it might turn rancid. So that is something I've never really used. And I never really thought that I would use the kanyaku starch either, because I'm all about simplicity. I don't want something that's going to be, I guess, you know, difficult. But, okay, it turns out that this is my very favorite way to do Momigami. Just the beauty of it. I see why that would be the traditional way, is the starch. It just really is a game changer. And these are a bunch of papers that are already, you just mix this up, and I have a full video on the whole process of using kanyaku starch. These are a bunch of the different papers that are already got the kanyaku starch on them. I just like to try all different types of papers. So this one is a mulberry paper, and I love, every sheet that I've done of the mulberry, I have used up in other ways, and we'll look at that in just a little bit. We'll go through and take a look at some of the things that I've made with my papers that I've made, because I started making all these papers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got all these papers. What am I going to do with them all? And let me tell you, you can make so many things. It's just amazing. But this mulberry paper is a Japanese mulberry paper. So this is very, very authentic in a sense that this is the kanyaku starch with a Japanese mulberry paper. And I think this is the closest you're going to get to when they say transform paper into fabric. It is just stunning, strong, and versatile. And I'll show you some things that I've started to make, I haven't finished, and some things that I have made just out of all the different papers we're looking at right now. And so you'll see this is getting a little softer. It never gets as soft as some of the 20-pound or even the mulberry done with lotion. There's something about the starch factor that makes this very much like fabric. It holds the crumples even. It holds them in a much better manner. And the paper is just really stronger and really does feel like fabric. The more you do it, the more you do it. And so it's kind of nice to just have a day where you just take your kanyaku starch, mix it up, and then just take a bunch of papers, and you can do one side, two-sided, and then I just have them sitting around, and then if I want to do something with them, I have them available. And you can see how long this is taking. It's not taking that long. And I could continue on and on and on, but look at this. Look how beautiful. And these two were the same size. And just in that short period of time, look at the size variance. It's amazing. Just amazing. So kanyaku starch, yes, thumbs up to me. I love working with it. It's just absolutely amazing. And this is another mulberry paper with the kanyaku starch. Now we're into kanyaku starch, but some of the other types of paper dyeing that I do. If you've ever heard of Suminagashi, that's what this is. I did 3 paper styles or weights of paper with Suminagashi, and it had alum painted on the paper first, which is a mordant that makes the ink stay in your paper and makes it beautiful. And then on top of that, after they were completely dried, I put the kanyaku starch on top of it. So it's stunning. I love it. This is one of my probably favorite ways to do Momigami, is to create these Suminagashi sheets and then put the kanyaku starch on top of that and then begin the process. I got to show you the comparisons here. See, this is without alum. Alum. I can never pronounce it correctly. It's alum. And this did not have it on it. This did. And these were the same size. This one goes with this one. I just won't bore you with all of it, but this is definitely a plus. This is one of my favorite ways to do Momigami. Here we are. Everybody asks, what do you do with your Momigami papers? Well, there are so many things that you can do that I haven't even exhausted it. I have so many ideas, I just don't have all the time. So one of the first things that I did is I made this little notebook. I have given them all away, but you can see here the Momigami is on the front. This is actually a watercolor painting that I digitized and printed on my home computer. And if you're interested in this project, I have it on creativerise.art. It's my blog, and the full instructions you print out and go ahead and make this. But that is a really cute way to make something with your Momigami paper. This, we just talked about the Suminagashi Momigami. Well, this is a painting that I took the paper because the kanyaku starch has a tendency to make your crumpledness, the wrinkles, stand out more. I don't know that you can really even tell how deep and beautiful this textured painting is, but I love it. It is just stunning, and I can just trade it out now because I've got all the papers to work with, and I love it. So this is my little tray of stuff that I've made, and I do have videos for each one of them. So now this is actually a catalog page. It's not anything that I printed. I like to make bookmarks. These are a couple bookmarks that I made with watercolor and pens. So I thought, well, let me see if I can stitch into this and make a bookmark. I didn't finish it because I didn't really like how it was coming out, but I think if I went back and tried a little bit, I think I could do something really cool with that. So this is a Momigami magazine or brochure that I got in the mail, and it's the real thing with lotion. I did lotion on it. And then I thought, well, I had strips because of course I can't throw anything away. And I thought, well, maybe I could do something like this. So just an idea of something I might be able to do. This, if you notice, is this paper right here. So I like to do some slow stitching with stuff, and this is something that I want to try and make. I thought it might be a nice little necklace, and I can just, you know, gussy it up with stuff. But this is my first experiment with this paper, and I was able to sew it up. I put some unbleached canvas within it, and I think it has some potential. I'm even thinking about maybe making a tote bag with a bigger sheet of paper and see what I can come up with. This is, if you noticed that paper that I showed you, this is the National Geographic Citrusolve 20-pound paper. I made a little notebook, and I love it. This is beat up because it's just wild in my purse, and it has not fallen apart. And there's instructions on my website, and I also have a full video showing how to make this notebook. And then we've got earrings. I used to be a jewelry designer prior to creating Creative Rise. I had to stop due to metalsmithing allergies, so what did I do? I went to paper. And this is Momigami paper. This is, again, you saw the papers. It was the National Geographic Citrusolve papers and origami. Beautiful. Now here we are to paper beads. Believe it or not, this is Momigami paper. And I made some tiny little earrings. And again, I've got a video of making paper beads. This is some experimentation that I've done. And this is Momigami paper, believe it or not. I don't know that you can even see. It's probably, the Momigami's wasted on it, but what I'm doing is utilizing odds and ends because it just takes a small strip of paper. If you look here, this one, it just takes a small strip. And in my videos, I have templates that you can print out on the back of your papers if you want, and you can just cut them out. So these are a bunch of different beads that I've made with the Momigami that I love. Again, that's on my, I have videos for each of these. And then last but not least, this is a vase. This is a vase with my Momigami tissue paper. And actually what I did is I took a old oil jar and put air dry clay over top of it and put the Momigami paper sealant over it and made this little decorative piece right here. And this is Momigami paper. Again, it's the paper beads that I've made. So I like stacking things on top of each other, taking all the different skills and rearranging and stacking them together. Now I know there has been a lot of questions I've seen about tapioca starch. So I do have some tapioca starch and I'm thinking I may just give that a try just to see how it varies from the kanyaku starch, because the kanyaku is just awesome. So I'm going to probably one time do the tapioca starch and do a video on it and let you know what I find out. But as for now, what technique do you like and what technique will you try? Because this is just a little intro into the varying techniques of Momigami and the inexhausted things you can make with the papers that you create. I hope you enjoyed this and let me know in the comments what you think.